The hushed grandeur of the royal reception shattered in an instant. It wasn't the clink of a misplaced champagne glass or the sudden crash of a forgotten protocol. No, it was a voice, quiet but piercingly cold, laced with that unique venom reserved for family feuds wrapped in royal decorum. Once again, the name at the center of the storm was Tom Parker Bowles, the son of Queen Consort Camilla. Not a stranger to the swirling tides of scandal, Tom had garnered a reputation for steering uncomfortably close to the edges of royal propriety. This time, however, the drama found an unexpected antagonist, Princess Anne, the stalwart emblem of old-world monarchy. Known for her unshakable resolve, unwavering dedication to duty, and a personality as sharp as her wit, and has long been a pillar of royal tradition. A clash between these two figures seemed almost inevitable, one representing the no-nonsense austerity of the past, the other embodying a modern irreverence that both fascinates and frustrates the palace walls. The setting for this unfolding drama was as quintessentially regal as it was fraught with tension, a formal reception, where every smile, handshake, and sideways glance carried the weight of centuries of protocol. But as is often the case with the House of Windsor, the gilded veneer of unity barely concealed the fissures beneath. Witnesses recall an exchange that escalated from a minor disagreement to a heated argument, a rare and almost sacrilegious breach of decorum in such a public arena. And while no one dares repeat the precise words exchanged, the fallout is impossible to ignore. This latest royal rift isn't just about a family squabble. It's a reflection of the growing tensions that have come to define this new chapter of the monarchy. The collision of tradition and modernity, the battle between duty and individuality, and the very question of what it means to be royal in the 21st century, these themes simmer just beneath the surface of every headline and whispered conversation. Tom Parker Bowles, for all his apparent disdain for the media spotlight, has a knack for drawing it. Whether through his bold statements or unfiltered demeanor, he has carved out a niche that both irritates and intrigues royal watchers. Princess Anne, on the other hand, is his polar opposite, a fortress of discretion, whose rare moments of candor are calculated and deliberate. Their opposing temperaments make for an explosive mix, and their confrontation feels less like a one-off incident and more like a symbol of a deeper fracture within the royal family. As details of their clash continue to emerge, the public's appetite for royal drama shows no signs of waning. Yet this isn't just tabloid fodder. At its heart, this is a story about the struggles of an ancient institution trying to find its place in a rapidly changing world. And in this struggle, figures like Anne and Tom become both players and pawns, their personal battles serving as proxies for larger questions about identity, relevance, and survival. The heart of the royal drama lies not just in the sharp words exchanged, but in the silent power struggle unfolding behind the scenes. At the epicenter of this clash is not only the personal animosity between Tom Parker Bowles and Princess Anne but also the broader battle over the monarchy's evolving identity. Their encounter, though ostensibly a simple family squabble, serves as a metaphor for the monarchy's own internal divisions. Anne, steadfast and disciplined, represents the monarchy's unyielding traditionalism. Tom, however, epitomizes the new breed of royals, those willing to break free from the shackles of convention, even at the expense of royal propriety. Princess Anne's unflinching commitment to duty has made her one of the most respected figures in the royal family. Over the years, she has tirelessly supported her mother, the Queen, and now her stepmother, Camilla. Known for her no-nonsense approach and often seen as a byproduct of the monarchy's old guard, Anne's reputation is built upon an image of resolve and unshakable loyalty to the crown. Yet, this unyielding loyalty comes with its own price, Anne's resistance to the whims of modernity and her unbending attitude towards her family's more unconventional members. Enter Tom Parker Bowles. The son of Queen Consort Camilla, Tom has always lived somewhat on the periphery of royal duties, choosing to carve out his own path in the culinary world rather than bow to the conventions expected of those born into royal blood. His penchant for blunt remarks, often laced with sarcasm, has earned him both admiration and scorn in equal measure. More often than not, Tom's casual disregard for royal etiquette has earned him the ire of those who hold the monarchy's tradition above all else. His close relationship with his mother, Camilla, further complicates his standing within the royal family, as his proximity to the Queen Consort often sets him at odds with more traditional members of the family. It is easy to see why the sparks flew between Tom and Anne during that fateful reception. Their worldviews are as different as their approaches to royal life. Anne, deeply entrenched in the rigid protocols that define royal behavior, could never understand Tom's casualness toward tradition. His irreverence is something she simply cannot abide, especially when it challenges the carefully curated image of dignity and duty that the royal family has worked so hard to maintain. For Anne, royalty is not just about the bloodline, it's about embodying the solemn responsibility that comes with it. Tom, on the other hand, seems to view his royal connections as a backdrop to his real life, one filled with personal achievements and a fiercely independent career. He is a modern royal in every sense of the word, a figure who does not adhere to the outmoded standards of behavior that so many in the family cling to. His comments, often provocative, are a constant reminder that the royal family is no longer a monolithic entity. Instead, it's a complicated, multifaceted institution where each member must find their own place, sometimes with sharp elbows and in direct opposition to others. In the aftermath of their confrontation, insiders were quick to reveal that it wasn't just a matter of personality clashes. This was a culmination of a deeper ideological divide between the old guard and the new generation. Anne's loyalty to tradition and the monarchy's time-honored ways was now being challenged by Tom's unapologetic embrace of modernity. What seemed to begin as a simple disagreement about royal protocol grew into a larger conversation about what the future of the monarchy should look like and, more importantly, who gets to decide that future. Though the confrontation was brief, its implications were anything but. Behind closed doors, whispers spread throughout the palace about the growing rift between Tom and Princess Anne. These tensions, according to sources, are not just limited to a single spat but reflect a broader struggle within the royal family about its direction in an increasingly unpredictable world. The monarchy, traditionally a symbol of continuity, is now facing questions about relevance and the role of its members in a society that has vastly changed. Tom's growing influence within the royal circles has ruffled feathers, particularly among those who have spent their entire lives adhering to the strict rules of royal life. Anne, as one of the longest-serving members of the family, has spent decades balancing the demands of duty and personal belief. To her, Tom's more relaxed approach to royal life represents a challenge to everything she has worked so hard to uphold. But, as royal experts argue, Tom's popularity with the public, and his deep connection with the media, make him a figure who is not easily dismissed. For Camilla, this family drama adds another layer of complexity to her already delicate position within the monarchy. While her relationship with her son Tom is undoubtedly close, her role as queen consort also demands a delicate balancing act between family loyalty and public duty. She is caught in the middle of a conflict that, while intensely personal, also reflects the larger forces shaping the future of the royal family. It is easy to imagine the hours spent in private, where the fallout from the event is discussed in hushed tones. Whether it was Tom's flippant remarks or Anne's pointed rebukes, the royal palace is undoubtedly buzzing with tension. The confrontation has already sparked public speculation, with some even suggesting that the rift between Tom and Princess Anne could escalate into a much more significant royal scandal. Given the current climate, it's not hard to see how such personal dramas could easily spill over into the public domain, further testing the monarchy's carefully constructed image. As the weeks passed since the now infamous confrontation, the tension between Princess Anne and Tom Parker Bowles only seemed to intensify. What began as a minor incident quickly escalated into a deeper divide that could very well have lasting repercussions for the royal family. Rumors swirled around Buckingham Palace, with insiders claiming that the fallout from the exchange was far from over. And, ever the stalwart defender of the monarchy's dignity, was reportedly shaken by Tom's brazen disregard for tradition. For her, the conflict was not merely a clash of personalities, it was an affront to the very principles she held dear. Behind the closed doors of the royal estate, discussions began to take a more serious turn. Princess Anne, known for her reserved demeanor and unwavering loyalty to royal protocol, was not one to let a slight pass without consequence. Her relationship with Tom had always been strained, but the confrontation had brought to light a simmering resentment that had been bubbling beneath the surface for years. Princess Anne had always believed that her devotion to duty and her deep respect for the crown were unquestionable, while Tom's casual approach to royal life had long been a thorn in her side. However, their recent encounter had gone far beyond a mere clash of worldviews, it had become a matter of pride. For Tom Parker Bowles, the confrontation had not just been about defending his personal choices, it had also been about challenging the very notion of royal hierarchy. Tom's independent spirit, and his disdain for the stuffy traditions of the monarchy, had always set him apart from other royal family members. But now, after the altercation with Anne, he seemed more determined than ever to push back against the institution that had long tried to define him. His role within the royal family, while tenuous, had never been as visible as his mother's, Queen Consort Camilla. Yet, in the wake of the confrontation, Tom seemed poised to capitalize on his newfound prominence, wielding the media as both a tool and a weapon in the ongoing drama. Sources close to Tom claim that he is beginning to feel the weight of his growing role within the public eye. In the past, he had often shied away from the spotlight, preferring a quieter life in the culinary world. However, the rift with Anne has given him a newfound sense of purpose. His relationship with the press has shifted as well. What was once a casual association has now turned into a strategic alliance. Tom knows that, in this age of media dominance, public perception can be just as powerful as royal duty. He has learned to use his celebrity status to his advantage, often making subtle jabs at royal traditions and his more traditional family members through carefully placed interviews and social media posts. As the tension continued to simmer, whispers of more behind-the-scenes confrontations began to surface. It wasn't just Anne and Tom at odds, other members of the royal family were said to be taking sides, each with their own take on the dispute. Camilla, in particular, found herself caught in the crossfire. Her loyalty to her son, Tom, was unquestionable, but her position as queen consort required a more measured response. While she stood by her son, she also understood the importance of maintaining royal unity, especially in times when the monarchy was under increasing scrutiny from the press and the public. In the coming weeks, the strain between Tom and Anne was becoming impossible to ignore. What had once been a relatively quiet rift now threatened to burst into full view. Tom, emboldened by his increasing media presence, began to openly question the outdated practices of the monarchy. He had long rejected the idea of being bound by the suffocating constraints of royal tradition, and now, more than ever, he seemed determined to challenge his royal identity in favor of forging his own path. At a royal event where both Tom and Anne were in attendance, the tension between the two was palpable. Their interactions were sparse, filled with icy exchanges that left those around them feeling uncomfortable. Royal observers noted that while Anne maintained her composed and disciplined demeanor, Tom seemed almost giddy with the attention he was garnering from the media, despite the rift it was causing within his family. It was clear that Anne was not one to forgive easily, and Tom was not about to back down from his position either. In a private conversation with his mother, Camilla, it was reported that Tom had become increasingly frustrated with the royal family's inability to evolve. He expressed his desire to see the monarchy embrace more progressive values, ones that would align with his personal philosophy of independence and self-expression. "Why are we still clinging to these archaic traditions?" he reportedly said. "The world has changed, and it's time the monarchy caught up." Meanwhile, Anne was quietly strategizing her next move. Known for her pragmatic approach to problems, she had always placed duty above personal feelings. But as the weeks passed and Tom's defiant attitude became more public, Anne found herself at a crossroads. She knew that this conflict was not something she could simply let go. If Tom's rhetoric continued unchecked, it could tarnish the image of the monarchy she had worked so hard to uphold. The stakes had never been higher. As public interest in the royal family reached new heights, the future of the monarchy seemed to hinge on how this family drama would ultimately play out. Would Tom continue his crusade for modernity, or would Anne's traditionalism win out? Would Camilla be able to maintain her delicate balance between loyalty to her son and her responsibility as queen consort? The tension reached its boiling point when an insider leaked an astonishing detail, a private letter from Princess Anne to Camilla. In it, Anne reportedly expressed her concerns about Tom's increasingly public attitude and warned that his defiance of royal norms was threatening to destabilize the monarchy's reputation. The letter, while never meant to be seen by the public, served as the final confirmation that the rift between Tom and Anne was not only deep but potentially irreparable. Conclusion: a family on the brink. What comes next for the royal family? As the dust settles, the fallout from the confrontation between Tom Parker Bowles and Princess Anne continues to reverberate through the royal corridors. The palace is in turmoil, with various factions within the family maneuvering to protect their own interests. But beyond the palace walls, the question remains, what does this rift mean for the future of the British monarchy? Tom Parker Bowles' rise as a modern voice within the royal family challenges everything that the monarchy has represented for centuries. His push for a more progressive, less traditional royal family clashes with the values that have long been the cornerstone of the institution. Princess Anne, on the other hand, stands as a staunch defender of the monarchy's old-world charm and unwavering devotion to duty. Her commitment to royal tradition is not just a personal belief, it is a duty that has been instilled in her since birth. But as the monarchy faces unprecedented scrutiny and demands for change, the battle between Anne and Tom represents more than a personal feud, it is a symbolic struggle for the soul of the royal family. Will the monarchy evolve with the times, or will it remain anchored to the traditions that have sustained it for generations? The clash between Anne and Tom is not just about them, it is about what kind of monarchy Britain will have in the future. With tensions mounting and allegiances being tested, one thing is certain, the royal family is at a crossroads. The personal drama unfolding between its members could very well determine the fate of the institution itself. And as the world watches, only time will tell whether the rift between Tom Parker Bowles and Princess Anne will heal, or whether it will signal the beginning of a much larger fracture within the royal family.